What a phenomenal story. Your biggest hit, your first song that you're recording, stolen from you. We can't just dwell over this one. This one has something. I have a question. The lyrics of I want us to dwell on this copyright just a bit, because off camera there's something we talked about that I find very intriguing. Jambo Bwana, habari gani, ogeni, Hakuna Matata. That element of Hakuna Matata is very big, because in 1992, 93, I remember I bought a Sega Mega Drive. And one of my first games on that thing was a game called Lion King. And Lion King had a song called Hakuna Matata. That's an American company that then took our trademark. The reason why I'm asking all of this is, let's say there's somebody, and they own that. I'm not sure if they own it. You'll probably bring reference to it. But in line with this, if there's somebody right now watching this who has the next Jambo Bwana, then that's not the name of the song. The song is called Kenya Hakuna Matata. Yeah. It's a song, Hakuna Matata. If your song is called Kenya Hakuna Matata, how are they allowed to even sing that on a song?
Okay, here's the thing. Copyright is a very funny thing. The song is called Kenya Hakuna Matata. What they use is Hakuna Matata. You can take them nowhere.
No way.
Yeah. It happened even before Disney, because when the song became a big hit, some company in Mombasa made T-shirts branded Hakuna Matata.
Yes.
And we tried to take them to court. But we were told, what's the title of your song? Kenya Hakuna Matata.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Although the phrase comes from the chorus of the song. Kenya inchi nzuri, Hakuna Matata. You see, law is, especially copyright law, you have to be very careful.
This Hakuna, just to be clear, people weren't rocking around Mombasa that time, say Hakuna Matata, like in a popular way. It's the music that popularized the phrase.
Yes.
So it popularized the phrase to the point that an American company, Disney,
yes,
one of the biggest companies in the world, yeah. Disney owns Marvel. Disney owns so many things.
But then you see, we also feel that somehow that was influenced. Their decision was influenced by our song.
Of course.
Why? We recorded the song in 1980. By the time they trademarked that phrase, because it's not possible to trademark or copyright a phrase, by the time they did what they did, because they've big-time lawyers who know the game.
Yes.
That was, the first time was in 1983 from the research we did with our lawyers.
What?
1983. So, Hakuna Matata, Kenya Hakuna Matata, or now Jambo Bwana, had been all over the world. That's why they picked it up.
Yeah.
You want to know something that nearly back then, 80%, I can confidently say that, 80% of the tourists that came to the coast region of Mombasa left with the single. They bought that single because we used to sell, and every other band used to give their roadies, almost, not all the bands, but many bands used to sell that single. They go to the music shop, buy the singles and buy it and sell it during their performances. So I can confidently say that 80%. So the song had already traveled the world before Disney even thought of that phrase. So influenced by.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what did they do? They trademarked it.
I think they trademarked it.
And what does that mean? What does that mean? It means that they can use the phrase.
They can use the phrase anyhowly. It belongs to them.
Copyright. So if there's a young musician in in
But
2023.
that does not fall under copyright. Yeah,
Yes.
trademark. Yeah.
Trademark. So if there's a young musician, could you have copyrighted the phrase Hakuna Matata?
No, we couldn't.
You couldn't.
Kenya Hakuna Matata, yes, but not Hakuna Matata.
Because it's too popular.
Yeah, it's a common thing.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
So if you were to do this differently, what would you have done? Actually, yes, that's the question.
Okay. Copyright, the moment you fix your idea into a tangible form, copyright inaingia immediately.
Okay.
So you don't even need to register. You just register in case of litigation. You see?
Yes.
But the moment you or me get our ideas off our heads,
Yes.
put it in where somebody can read, see, listen, etc., copyright inaingia immediately.
Okay.
All right. So we don't have to do anything. All we need to have done, if we knew then, would have been to register it. But you can see in Kenya, the Copyright Office was started much, much later, Kenya Copyright Board. And it's only 2 or 3 years ago when they came up with the National Rights Registry, where now anybody, any Kenyan, any artist can register their works. So back then we knew nothing. And I mean, naivety also comes with a cost element. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Because the same thing for a South African song on that movie, yes. Yeah. In the jungle, we a wimbo.
Yeah.
They got compensation.
Yes, they did. Because Disney took the entire song. When Pumbaa sings or Timon sings, he sings the entire song.
Another CD they found, somebody, he sings the entire song, yes.
Yeah.
And so those people fought.
The grandchildren of the composer.
The grandchildren fought.
And they were paid out of court, millions.
Okay. Let me rewind selector. Before the 80s, I think it was 78 or 79, I'm not sure the exact time, but the first president of this great nation called Kenya passed on. That means before that, in fact, I hear he passed on in Mombasa, if I'm not wrong.
South Coast.
South Coast.
At a school in South Coast.
At a school in South Coast.
Yeah.
Whoa. So I asked that saying, you had performed for him.
We did back then.
Tell us that story.
And it was the district commissioner who sent for us, late Madenge. Yeah. Ambia vijana waje kuimbia Mzee.
And where was this happening?
It was at the stadium, in a corner in the stadium. I think it was either Jamhuri Day or something like that.
Yeah.
And we were called in to perform. Land Rovers are the serikali. Back then they used to use Land Rovers.
Yes.
Zilikuja nyumbani. People thought we were being arrested. Chuda hapo, watu wakajaa, gari za serikali zimekuja bana.
Yes.
Tukaenda stadium tukacheza. Yeah.
And how was it?
It was out of this world for us, being recognized by the government.
What?
It was out of this world.
And did you have these dreadlocks? Of course not this.
Bado, ilikuwa bado. That was, dreadlocks tulikuja much later.
Okay. Then we'll talk about that, because I'd like to hear about the resistance that comes with dreadlocks. Yeah. Dreadlocks till today, you put it on.
Dreadlocks wakati wa Moi ndo tupatia shida.
Shika hii. It's a stereotype that comes around with the look and hairstyle, which is so wrong for that. Anyway, we'll get there. Okay, so you performed for him 1980s. Let's go on with this.
Yeah, that
now you're a full-time, full-blown musician.
In
fact, you've been doing this for close to years now.
Yeah. That performance opened the floodgates. The DOs, the DCs, nini wakiwa na function, and then kwa mushrooms. So profile yetu ilienda juu. Naona. It really, God is God, man. it really built us. The brand sasa ikaingia. Back then hatujui mambo ya brand, but now we can talk about it.
Yes.
Ikapata value.
So you stood out amongst the bands
Exactly.
Heavily. Yes.
One thing.
And also you've got a hit song.
Yeah. One thing I must say is most of our peer bands thought hiyo ni kidogo kuvuja class kwenda kucheza mahali kama pale from the beach hotels playing for wazungus. But we've always ventured where most have, not only locally, even abroad. We've ventured where people, I wish I could share this later. We've ventured where other bands, even local bands abroad, have feared to go or despise.
Like where? Can you even share it now?
Ethiopia. When we went to Ethiopia the first time, Mengistu was still in power.
Whoa.
They had had 16 years where no foreign band had set foot in Ethiopia. So we get to Addis for 2 shows. The performances were so good. The Ministry of Tourism tells us, you guys are not going back. We want you here for the whole month. And then what happens? They say, we'll take you around some of the best tourist spots in the country. So from Addis Ababa, we went by road to Woliso. And we had made friends already in Ethiopia because we were the first band after 16 years of curfew to have gone to perform at the Hilton Hotel in Addis Ababa. So what happens? The band, the resident band, we gel easy. So they were telling us, you guys are crazy. There's curfew. Huko kuna, that time, I think EPLF, Ethiopian People's Liberation Front or something, fighting the government. You're going to get killed. And we told them, if we die there, okay, lakini sisi, we've come to explore. So we were taken to Woliso. We're supposed to start at 9. These guys have never seen, not even a local band. The venue is packed at 2 p.m.
Wow.
Our techies are setting up, the venue is packed. From Woliso, they took us to Jima. They took us to Sodere. Tunaenda mali roadblock, unaona army pako unafikiria hapa tutakufa. But we went. That's what we've been doing all our lives. So Mombasa, back to Mombasa, we did this.
Basically now doing the DOs, the DCs.
Yeah. They start calling us when there's a party. And then, so besides being a resident band, tuko tunapata saa ingine parties za mchana, nini. And it worked really well for us, financially, both financially and to get the band to be very cohesive. Because when you perform regularly, the same lineup, ni kama team, nakuwa kama Barcelona ama unajua.
Yeah. I mean, you guys could do it in your sleep now.
Yeah.
You knew the breaks and you knew how to move from this song to this song. And a guest can come and ask you, please play this song. You probably 2 seconds, ting, ting, ting.
Yeah. So it really helped us.
Okay, so then, can you remember the transition of Kenyatta?
Yes.
Okay, talk a little bit about that.
He passed on at this school, like Maganyakulu or something in the South Coast. And the whole country came to a standstill. The first time I could see people in the streets crying because we had never had another president. He was very elderly and people looked up to him like the liberator and all this. People were crying. In Mombasa, people were crying in the streets, man. And everything just stopped. Hakuna performances, hakuna nini.
Hey, there you go and start playing Jambo. Hey.
So it was like, let me say, it was not silent, but the country became silent. Mombasa was silent. Not really, I mean in a different way.
I get what you're saying, yeah.
You see? So it was like that
mourning.
Mourning, and people were talking in whispers. You think maybe it's wrong for someone to die. So people were talking in whispers for a week, 2, until the burial. Watu wanang'ang'ania sasa that time ilikuwa ishaanza kuingia color TV kwa mbali. So people rushed to radios, TV to listen to the news.
Was the fear also who's next? Or did you already automatically know?
No, it wasn't, because one thing I think Mzee stood out for me is that he was clear on who was going to succeed him. That's why Moi was there, although he was tormented by the people around the late Mzee Kenyatta, but he kept him there. So the country, or maybe I knew Moi is the next president. Even after there was this story about, it was all over the news then, that there was this group trying to make him, get him out of the way, so that when Kenyatta died, it was, Mzee's health was deteriorating.
Okay.
So it was obvious, ni wakati wote Mungu atamuita. And there were all these schemes, to get late Moi out of the way. But God's plan was he was to succeed. So personally, I would say I had no doubts in my mind that he was going to be president.
Okay, yeah. But I like what you've said. You've also said, but it was also clear to the public that there were people who were parties or groups of people who are trying to have a different president still coming.
Yes.
And maybe that was hence the reason for the silence, whispering, and you get...
There was a bit of uncertainty. But then, just the way I felt, I think I could pick it up from people around. The only question was, Moi ataweza? You see? Because all these stories about getting him on the way were circulating all over. But when they looked at Kenyatta, he didn't give any hint of wanting Moi out of the way.
I get it.
You can see the difference. Moi changed vice presidents how many times? Till the time the Kenyans didn't know,
Yeah.
It's only the constitution that came in 2010 that made that seat a permanent feature in the legislature.
Moi had many vice presidents.
Yeah.
I think Saitoti was the longest, and Saitoti is okay.
Yeah. So that's it.
So, and also so what happens now? Moi comes in. I mean, or Kenyatta dies. Can you remember the time now it was announced, okay, Moi is in power? Yeah,
you're swearing in. In fact, I kept that newspaper. Ya Moi. Nilinunua nikaiweka. The swearing in, it was Nation and Standard. Sorry, I mentioned the names. 20 plus pages sometimes. So it was there in the news, everything. And I think he had anticipated, I stand to be corrected, this happening, and immediately hit the ground running, but to bring the country together. Okay. Yeah, he worked on that for a while. Okay. Up until, I stand to be corrected again, up until the coup is when akaona, ala, kumbe ukiwa mpole sana hapa jamaa, and they'll rock you. But before the coup, he was a very nice president. We even made a song for him, man. For real? Pongezi twazitoa kwa raisi Arap Moi and things like that. As in the Mushrooms had a song for the guy. Yeah. You see? Okay, so he comes into president. Then of course it's back to tourism, things as usual, everything that's happening. So I'm taking then for you, then the coup was another turning point. Yeah, the coup caught us while we were in Nairobi.